Hey, Mega Moms, Jessica Hensley here with Real Estate Mega Moms, where we help moms create a life and a business that they love. And I am joined today by my partner, Stefanie Stockberger. And we are going to be talking about a hot topic today. We are going to talk about how you can get more listings. I think with everything going on in the market, a lot of agents are seeing the power in listings. We've always preached being a heavy listing agent. That to me gives you more leverage. It's the best strategy as a mom, where you have more control over your schedule. But some people are afraid of listings. So we're going to talk about how we're getting these listings, what are our top 5 sources for getting listings, and we may throw in a few bonus sources as well. Okay, so we're going to start with telling you the 5 sources, and then we'll talk about each one later. So the first one is our past clients and sphere, of course. I think about 70% of my business comes from past clients and stuff. I'm sure you're right up there too, right?
Yeah, I'd say about 65 to 70%. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you've been in the business for a while, then you do have those repeat people if you did a good job for them. So that's a good sign. The next one is ISO post. And remember, we're going to go through the details of how we're doing that with each of these at the end. And then the third one is leads from our website. How are we generating and turning these buyer leads into sellers? The next one is for sell by owners and expireds. Yes, they are still out there, and there is still some strategy to getting those. And then direct mailing. So those are the 5 top lead sources, and we do have some bonuses we'll talk about at the end. So let's start with past clients and sphere stuff. How are you turning your past clients and your sphere into a seller lead source?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to stay in touch with them. And that's about, having a database, and, we can only be spread so thin and then let things drop through the cracks. So having a database and working it. So the first thing that we do is open up our database and make sure that we're looking through it and touching base with those clients and continuously doing that. So every day you should be looking at that. And if you haven't talked to Miss Smith for 6 months, and she is one person that you're going to get referrals from continuously, you better be calling on Miss Smith. You better be dropping by and talking to Miss Smith. If it's been 2 years, you've not done your job. And I think it's really, you have to care too. You can't just call up Miss Smith and say, hi, Miss Smith. Okay, bye, Miss Smith. I mean, look through, if you're Facebook friends with her, like look through Miss Smith and see, like, has Miss Smith, has she gotten a new dog? Does she have new grandbabies? Did she get married? Did she do all the things? And hopefully you've sent Miss Smith congratulations, like throughout the years, or, all those kind of things. And like, have a relationship with Miss Smith. And that way, when you call Miss Smith or drop by Miss Smith with a, bouquet of flowers or whatever the case is, she's like not going to be surprised that you stop by. So one thing that Jacob, my son, had mentioned to me the other day is that really kind of set in with me. He's like, I really appreciate the way that you genuinely like care and the way that you talk to people. Like you actually have a relationship with them. And I'm thankful that that is the one thing that I'm able to do, because it's the one thing that I enjoy. And I really didn't put that into a database until, it's probably been like 7 or 8 years until I really put it into a database, just because I thought I could control it in my head. And then all of a sudden I didn't. And then I was missing people, and I think I hurt their feelings sometimes because I forgot. And
Yeah.
now that I have a database, it's all making sense. I'm like, I don't want to miss you, but it's the database for me. So,
and I think that some people are afraid to embrace the database and the, having a plan around the CRM and your past clients in your sphere, because it feels inauthentic, right? A lot of, and I would say this is for me too. And we do have ours dialed in now, but it took me a long time to think that that was okay. I did not want to call up somebody unless I had a reason. And I'm not quite as personable as you are. Stefanie, you can talk to anyone and you make everyone feel so comfortable and so loved. Like you have that superpower. And I would say the ones that are listening right now, if that's you, if you're that people person, if you're the warm, fuzzy, as Stefanie always says, I'm going to love you up, right? I'm going to hug you up or whatever. Like that's just who she is. I love that. I love that. And if you're like me, where if I'm calling you, there's a reason I'm calling you, and we're gonna pretty much get to the point, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, great, have a good day. I mean, I'll be nice and I'll be bubbly, but I'm not just gonna chit chat. So if you're like me, then what you have to have is the database is even more important. And I'm not calling them and just like Stefanie, we're not asking for referrals. That's not why we're calling. We're talking, but I have to have a reason that I'm calling. So I'll do like the first quarter. What we do is we're updating our vendor list, and they kind of expect to hear from us now of who do you know that's a plumber. We are always wanting to add more people. Looks like we only have 2 plumbers down. Have you used anyone, or have you heard of anybody that's new that's offering these services? And would you like to get our updated vendor list when we're done? And then we're going to call on their birthday, or maybe what I've actually started doing is a video or even a voice memo. So it's a little bit more personal, and just like, hey, Steph, I just want you to know I really appreciate you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. You're amazing. You deserve it. And I can't wait to see what this next year brings for you and your family. Something like that that's more personal than just HBD on their timeline, which is what I was guilty of doing. And then another thing we're starting is in BombBomb, we send out newsletters, but like on the personal level, I've recorded a video that's, hey, congratulations on being in your home one more year. And basically the video just says that if they would like to get an updated valuation on their home, that they need to respond to this email, tell me what they've done, if they've made any improvements, and if they want to know just like a general valuation where we can kind of keep up the equity position they're at in their home, then they can just respond with the upgrades, and I'll send them a like more of an RPR type of a report. Or if they have thoughts of selling in the next year, let me know and I can, schedule an appointment, and I put the link below the BombBomb video. And then I'm going to go to their house and we're going to look at it in person, and we're going to strategize about how they can maximize the value on their property. And it gets me ahead of the game before they think about selling. So I'm like their partner, right? To help them with this amazing asset that they own. So those are some of the ways that we're calling and staying in touch. And also, obviously, our client events. I did just hold one a couple weeks ago. I guess it's been like 3 weeks ago. We did succulent plants, and we only had room for 15, but it was so fun. And it was like just the girls. So it was more geared towards the adults versus everything else I've done has more been for the kids, which is fun too. But it was nice to get to hang. Yeah.
I saw that. That looked so fun. I want to do that.
Yeah, it was really cool. And there were some people that came that I was surprised that came. One of them was a brand new homeowner. She bought her home at 22, and she came by herself, and it was really neat to get to talk to them on a different level, just like a friend level. And those are the things that are so difficult for me. It's not that I have a problem like being personal with people, but if it feels forced, it's just hard to do, stuff.
Yeah. I love that kind of thing. Jessica, what I struggle with is like the exact opposite from you. I struggle turning it into the business conversation, like where you said that you're so direct, is where, I mean, like I struggle turning it from the personal into the business part of it. And I think that's kind of where we can kind of mesh and we learn from each other that way. So that's good.
Yeah. And I think regardless of which end of the spectrum you fall, the most important thing is to be organized, have everyone put in your database, and even if that's a spreadsheet, let's say you have 50 or 100 people, that's totally manageable in a spreadsheet. But you want to have the columns where you know their birthday, their home anniversary, maybe some notes about them, information on their kids. You want to know lead sources. That's always important. And then notes about their future. You know, what are they wanting to do in the future? So you want to still have a pretty robust like data, even if it's on a spreadsheet. So okay, let's go to the next one. And by the way, like full disclosure, these podcasts are going to be 20 to 30 minutes. So if we can't get through all of our lists, we may just do a part two. But I don't want to cut short any one lead source. We want this to be super valuable for you. We want you to be able to take this information and apply it to your business and maybe be inspired to start the thing that you've been putting off. So the next one is ISO post. So what do I mean by that? An ISO post is in search of. And this particular post works like a charm for me nearly every time. The key to it being successful is to be specific and also to make it feel like a genuine friend to friend request, like I need help, versus an ad. So I would as much as you may want to make this look really pretty and have a beautiful graphic, I would recommend just typing out what you need. Even if, let's say you have 20 buyers you're looking for, I would do one at a time. Be specific because you want someone to see your post and think, oh, that describes my house, or oh, that describes my aunt's house, right? You want them to see themselves in your post. So you would say something like, I have a qualified buyer, or I have a cash buyer who's approved up to X. They're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with 5 acres in the Independence area. We've seen everything that's on the MLS. So you want to make sure you put that in there because you don't want the people to tag their home that they already have listed or their agent, right? This is to generate new listings. We've seen everything that's on the MLS. Nothing has quite met their needs. Who do you know? Please help, right? Every time I post something like that, I get something. Sometimes it's not exactly what I was asking for, but it's still generated like, oh, she's working with lots of buyers. I should reach out to her. Or, oh, yeah, I was going to ask her about listing my mom's house, you know? So I typically get something. Do you ever get anything out of the ISOs?
Yeah. I always put in the top, like, we need your help, because, the people that just kind of just really want to like say they helped you. And, you've got those really big advocates, which I love those people, that the ones that always tag you on the Facebook groups and stuff. I mean, I just love those people. They really want to help you, and they instantly start digging in, like watching out for you. Those are the ones that are out there finding them for you. So I put, we need your help. I put it on my business page, on my personal socials. And I don't share from my business to my personal. I try to like just put it like separately, because for some reason it doesn't like show as much. But yeah, so typically we do get some business. Not normally do we find the house for them. I mean, I would love to say that we find the house. Sometimes we do. I mean, I can say we have maybe a couple times, but yeah, so we do find some business that way. And I think those are the most fun. I mean, that is why I love this business. I really like to dig, and those are the ones that just inspire me to get up in the morning and just start digging for houses. So, if those can kind of perk business for either that buyer or another buyer, or even if I find something for a colleague that maybe they're looking for someone and I can find something that way, I just love it. So.
And Stephanie, you saying that reminds me, I feel like I've heard you say you will literally pick up the phone and go through your list, your contacts list, and ask if they know. Like you'll personally do this ISO. It's not a post, it's actually a phone call.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh yes. And rummage sales. This is like the most fun part of it for me. I don't know what it is. It's just like lights my fire. So when I don't have those digging situations, I feel kind of bored.
What do you say? And how do you go about that?
Um, that I have, well, typically, like, if the calls that I make are someone that I like, I don't just call someone that I don't know. Like, if I'm going through my list of people that like I know, like, hey, I'm looking for a buyer that that is looking for a certain neighborhood. Do you know someone in that neighborhood? Oh, you do? Like, do you think that they would know someone that's maybe looking at listing a home? And that makes you look like a hero. Like, you're like really digging, because it's like, wow, why would you call me? You calling me to see, like, I don't even live in that neighborhood.
And
So
I also think it's like the kind of like a gossip a little bit, like, oh my gosh, I'm
yeah,
looking for somebody, that's what it reminds me of. I love it.
why are you calling me? Like, I don't even like live there. And I'm just like, because you know everyone. Because like, I think last time I talked to you, you knew like someone that knew someone. And I'm like, maybe you know someone. I don't know. So
Yeah, that's good. I like that stuff. So
yeah.
yeah, and you can do those ISO post in your business page, like Stephanie said, and also in groups, so it doesn't have to be limited to your personal page. But I think I get probably some of my best results from my personal page. I haven't been brave enough to call people like Stephanie, so maybe I gotta up my game a little bit here.
You do something to do, honestly. And the people that like the people that I'm calling here, those are the ones that they like to be. They're just like the people that when I say that they're out marching the streets for you, they're the ones that like to be in the know. And all of a sudden they might want to call someone just like, hey, I heard of someone that wants to know something.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it does feel like this. You're in the inside scoop. You're in the cool place.
Inside.
Okay, the next one quickly, and I think we'll probably have to stop here, but leads from our website. So I was just telling you, Steph, that anybody, or let me back up. All of our marketing efforts, including our signs, anything and everything we do, points to our website. So that includes with EXP, and I'm sure other brokerages do this as well, but we can actually get a writer for each listing with a QR code, and it'll point them, like, we'll assign the QR code, we'll point them to our website, to that particular listing. So it goes on the sign, so they can scan it and they can see the inside pictures, or they can see the 360 tour, or all of those things. Well, anyone that checks in on our website, we call them, and we typically will call them most recently active. So if they were on the site today, we're giving them a call. Hey, I saw you were looking at our new listing, 123 Main Street. Just wanted to see if you had any questions about that. And we'll normally just stop, and let's say they say no, like, oh, okay, well, have you been looking for a house very long? How soon are you wanting to move? And we'll talk to them for a little while. And a lot of times we uncover that they have a home to sell. So, I mean, a ton of the listing appointments I've been on this year have actually came from our website. Also, Google points to our website, but the main thing here is you have to have a website that's going to capture their information, right? That's why we use KV Core, since we're with EXP and that's what's provided. But there are a ton of different website providers out there that have this feature. And once they get logged in, or give you the information on your website, you have it and you can call. So I know that there's a lot of people out there that just sleep on that, either they don't have one, or they're not utilizing it properly, they're not pointing people to it, because it doesn't do you any good if you're not posting and pointing people. You got to point them to the place you want them to put their information.
Yeah, so we are actually switching over to KV Core. So I've been with EXP for a little over a year now, and I hadn't switched over. So I am in the midst of doing that. We're with Delta, which was my old company, and I hadn't really done much with that website. I have not pointed anyone. I do get some leads from that. Actually, I know that my customers every once in a while will use it. I just actually got something right before we got on today. A client was on there and had asked for information. So, but I am excited about the KV Core, and I'm going to start using it. So I'm really pumped about it.
Yeah, it is good. I'm excited for you. And the key will be to have somebody assigned to watching it every day, watching
Happy
who
Jacob.
is checking in. Yep, absolutely. And when we do that, we uncover opportunities every time. So far we've gone over 3 lead sources. We have 2 more to share with you, plus some bonuses. So tune in for part 2. We typically publish our podcast on Mondays and Wednesdays. So tune in for part 2, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.